everyone doing tonight? It is Saturday. We have a Switchwire. It don't do anything yet, but we're going to fix that. So, some new things. First off, hopefully the audio quality is much improved. I have a lapel lav mic now. It's not wireless though, so I've got 6 meters of dangly wire everywhere now. So at some point I'm going to walk out of this room, forget I'm connected to the computer, and knock the computer off and kill the stream. So when that happens, make sure you clip it and post it on Reddit, because that probably will happen. So I'm hoping the audio quality is good. And then also, fun trick now. Camera 1. Camera 1. Camera 1. Camera 3. Hello. We have an overhead cam now. So that means proper actual overhead. Oh, camera 2, no audio. There we go. See, that totally ruined the Wayne's World joke there, because I was doing the camera 1, camera 2 thing. Dang it. Okay, so I think we're good there. They all got chat. They all got chat. Okay, so we're okay there. It's all in slightly different positions, but good enough. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. So, last week, we got the Switchwire to the point where we're ready to do the stuff underneath, but I did have some parts that were the wrong color. That has been corrected. And then also, we did have some issues. See, now I have a mobile camera where this little guy right here wouldn't fit in because the drag chain would hit it. So because somehow I had outdated STLs, that has been replaced. So we are good now. So there we go. So, Rode Wireless Go as next upgrade to get rid of the 6 meter. Kilocubit, I have been looking into that. I just purchased this one for now. Is the camera too high? Camera's too high. Yeah. Drop that down a little bit. There we go. I think I'm zoomed out more than I normally am. Oh yeah. So, I got the desk now. So I actually can fit all my printers in frame at once. So I got that. The lav mic is wired for now because I just wanted to try a lav mic. And a lot of people, oh my God, a spider. Yes, there was only the one stream where we had a spider. But yeah, so I wanted to try just a lav mic. So it's like a $20 lav mic just to see how it sounded. I probably will go wireless at some point, but that's like $300, and it's on the list of things maybe one day. Where did I get the updated STL? So the STLs, I did download the latest ones, but when you download the pack of Switchwire STLs off the website, it doesn't pull the latest from the GitHub for some reason. So the latest ones are on the GitHub. You just have to go manually download them. So yeah, so I got the desk in today. So these are all now bolted to the wall, so I can actually resume printing. Because I had to print on the floor for the longest time. Because, you know, Voron shake because they run at like stupid high accelerations. So yeah, we left off. We couldn't quite wire the bottom stuff because we were kind of delayed. We were waiting on stuff. That's done now. So let's do this stuff under the hood. Because right now, there's nothing. Just wires. So with the Switchwire, It's not quite like the V2 where you can just put it completely upside down. It's an i3 Mendel style printer. But you can just lean it on your back, on its back, and you can fit everything in. So, for those that don't know, this is a rebuild, okay? This machine has previously been running, but it was a rebuild because we're using the fancy LDO frame and motors. So, luckily, that means all my cable looms are already done with connectors on it, so you don't got to sit there and watch me crimp all night. Nobody get the... Oh, yes, so now that I got a wire, I got to be careful if the dog comes in here. That might be an issue. But at least now I can actually wander around and talk, and you can hear me properly. So, just a roundup of electronics. We have a Meanwell, what is this, LRS 25.5, I think it is. Of course, the mounting bracket covers it. But this is for the Raspberry Pi. I am running a Raspberry Pi 3. It's a B+ on this guy. With that. An SKR 1.3 is the controller. Spec is an SKR Mini E3 V2. The reason I'm running the 1.3, and this is with all 2209s, is this is a dual extrusion setup. So I need 2 extruders, so I need 5 motors total, which you need like a 1.3 for that, because the Mini E3 V2 only has 4. And the E3 Turbo, which is actually a really nice board, wasn't out yet. Fish FPV, you sound awesome. Thank you. Are the LDO rails worth more than the robot digs? I have used neither of those. All my rails on all my machines are CNA, but a lot of people have said good things about the LDO rails. So I'm going to say they're good. Are they $50 better than robot dig? I have no idea because I haven't used either. Okay. And then for the main power supply, we have an LRS 350 24 volt. Meanwell, of course, all my power supplies are Meanwell. And then we have some a buck converter for some fans for cooling. Oh yeah, I gotta put this guy in. And then the generic inlet. I'm doing a Switchwire Ender build. Congrats. First Core X, it's XZ is the proper name, I guess. Because Core XY is these guys, and this is XZ. And honestly, it's probably the first XZ build for a lot of people, because it is not common. If you look for Core XZ printers, there are not a lot. Ooh, okay, I don't know why the nags didn't come off. Ooh, John Clark, 100. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. For wireless mic, don't want to see a trip on the header into a workbench. So far, so good. I've only done like one video. Oh, that clicks in so nice. I've only done like one video recording with it, and I'm loving it so far. So thank you, man. Deeply appreciate it. I do, again, I should have led with this, but all this fancy stuff is mostly because of you guys and your support of the channel, either through donations, through the Patreon, or just becoming a member on YouTube, because there's now that option, you could do that. So far, the channel is still, I'm still slightly in the red, but it's doing a heck of a lot better than it would be if you guys weren't supporting this, and it allows me to do all this fun stuff. So, thank you. Because as always, everything that gets donated or this channel makes gets reinvested right back into the channel right now. So, I still have a full-time job. So, anything you guys give just makes everything better. So let me pull up. Oh, by the way, I'm probably going to hit wrong buttons at some point because I like completely went through and remapped my little macro keyboard here. So I'm probably going to hit the wrong button a few times. So for those that don't know, of course, the Switchwire manual is out now. I don't know if it's on the main website, but if you go to the Voron Discord, it's in there. But please don't say Z, say Z. It's Z. Zebra. For those that don't realize that I'm Canadian. So I don't know what's in here. Okay, so they do have a section in the manual here for mounting, how to mount the electronics and whatnot. Now, mine won't be exactly the same, obviously, because I have an SKR 1.3 and whatnot. I believe the SKR mount that I am using, for those that want to use an SKR 1.3 or 1.4, I'm using the mount that you use for the V2, basically. It's a V2 mount. It's all aluminum extrusion. You can bolt anything to it. Yeah, so it does have all this. Oh, that's what that's for. Oh. I never realized what this, this is the bottom plate. Ah, so I got a fancy bottom plate I could put on this to cover it all up when I'm done. None of my Vorons have bottom plates, by the way. That's what that's for, eh? I thought it was just a scrap piece. Matt Lamb, $2. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Everyone should like the stream. Love the builds. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know why. Maybe it'll work now. It should be making a little notification sound. Let me make sure. Oh, turn that off. You know, I don't think there's anything there. Oh, exposed main wiring. Yeah, I'm the only one in the room. Okay, maybe now the audio will actually play. Sometimes I have to log into that for that to work. Okay, so anyways, how do we donate? There should be a little button with a money sign on it if you want to donate. So let's go ahead and install. Let me load up Fusion just because I know somebody's going to ask me something. I'm going to need Fusion 360 open. So the layout for the electronics, it's actually kind of nice the way the electronics are laid out on this thing. They clip in. A lot of this clips in and then just mounts in. So it's relatively easy to install and uninstall the electronics on this build. It all basically hangs off of the extrusions on the outside. Put that one there. There we go. So I'm going to need some T-nuts, obviously. Legos are adult Legos. I cannot wait. My son is 3 in March. I cannot wait till he is old enough that I can use that as an excuse to buy myself more Lego. I cannot wait for that day. So if I'm not mistaken, I had it. This was up higher. So I had this here. There you go, that was there. I can move this if I need to. And I'll go through some like tips and for like laying out everything. And I'll try and follow along with chat as much as I can. Lately, unfortunately, you know, things are getting too popular. I used to have like 30 or 40 or 50 people in the stream, and I could watch chat the whole time. And now there's like, oh my God, there's already over 100 of you guys. So I do try to follow chat and answer as many questions as I can while I'm building. But please bear in mind, there's too many of you now. So if you really have a question directly at me when you write it, because then it'll stand out more, so I can make sure to check it. How much do you need to build Toasty Boy, or how short is the build budget, and how much would you charge me to build Joel Telling and ship it to? Okay, so Joel, 3D printing nerd, for those that are unawares, which if you're following 3D printing YouTubers, he's like #1, I believe, in terms of like viewers. So odds are y'all follow him. He says he wants to build a Voron, and there is like rumblings of him building one. I don't know which one he's building, but he says he's going to be building one this year. So Joel, if you're watching and you got any questions, hit me up, man. But I think he wants to build his own, which honestly, when it comes to a Voron, half the reason to build a Voron is to build a Voron. It's like when you play a video game. You know, you're playing a video game, and you can enter the cheat codes to unlock everything, and then you quit playing because you've unlocked everything, right? Half the fun is getting there. So sending him a Voron kind of defeats the purpose of a Voron, in my opinion. But as for what I need, right now I'm in talks with frame, rails, motors. I'm okay there. And basically like a week or two, I might do it on stream. But I'm going to, because I know a lot of people have issues with sourcing and whatnot, I'm going to do on a stream, probably not this one or next one, but the one after, where I'm going to go through sourcing a full Voron build on stream. And going through like part recommendations and whatnot. Luckily, a lot of the stuff on all the Vorons is the same, right? It's just different amounts and different variants, right? When it comes to like designing Vorons, the designers, because I'm not a designer, I'm horrible at CAD. We technically have like a Voron crib, right? Like a stock list of common Voron items. And when stuff's being designed, that's taken into account. So like screw sizes, there is a bill of material, a nominal list of screws that we use in all the Vorons. Same with rails, same with extrusions. So that way, when something new is designed, odds are if you're like me and you have a ton of extra stuff, you already have the stuff you need, right? We always design with F695 bearings, for example, and these size screws and X this. And so it kind of makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so I got my 2 power supplies in right now. Will you be sourcing for Canadians? Yes, I am Canadian, and I'm going to be sourcing this build for myself, so. But I buy a lot of stuff off AliExpress. It works. Just waiting on some money so I can buy ABS to print the parts for my V0. Sucks being broke. That sucks. Oh, music. There we go. There we go. Mike, it was, so for those that don't know, I stream, I use Stream Beats for streaming. Let me pull it up here. Nope, that ain't it. This is what you're listening to. It's called Stream Beats. It's by a guy named Harris Heller. He's got a few different like set lists and whatnot. But it's all music made specifically for streaming, so I don't get copyright striked. It's real nice. He actually made Christmas music that doesn't suck, if you would believe it. Okay. So, let's see here. Put these guys up here, so I'll put these in next. So, come on, up close camera. Cool. So, right here is what it looks like with the power supplies installed. So I have my inlet here, and I got my wires. I have my 5-volt power supply. This is for the Raspberry Pi. And then I got my 24-volt power supply. This is for everything else. And then I have a 12-volt buck here, double-sided tape to it. And this is for the fans that I use for the compartment cooling. These are fractal 60mm fans. These are nice and quiet. So I have 2 of these up top, and they blow air across the whole compartment. So anyways, when you go to wire everything up, I like this arrangement because this makes this little area your high voltage area, okay? This is where all the high voltage is this little rectangle, this little corner. So everything going out of this area is now low voltage. It's 24 volts and lower. So this is your high voltage corner. So you have your inlet and your power supplies. And all the wires are like all in here. So this is the high voltage section. So let's hook everything up. Why do you need to keep tweaking your probe offset? Make sure you have a good probe for one, but you may have to keep tweaking it. It really depends on what probe it is and your temperatures. Unfortunately, unlike the V1 and the V2, your probe is your Z offset. So it is technically perceptible, or what's the word? It's affected by temperature drift, okay? There's stuff in the works, different designs and different probes that can get around it. You can use a Pinda if you want to avoid that, but try probing at the same temperature. So like same thing on the V1 and the V2 where we recommend do like the heat soak before probing. Try and have the same routine for probing to try and get it consistent, because it does drift with temperature, but at the same temperature, it's accurate. So if you always probe at a 40 degrees Celsius temperature, it'll always be accurate at that temperature, right? So you just need to have a routine in place to fight the drift, okay? Some of us are running like a routine to check the accuracy of the probe, and you can see it does drift with temperature, but within that same temperature, it's accurate. So you just need to make sure you're always probing the same. So if you print PLA at 60 Celsius bed, heat your bed to 60 with the probe sitting 10 millimeters off the center of the bed, wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes for it to get the temperature, then run the routine, then print, and you should be good every time. So. How is the 2.4 for printing engineering grade parts? The 2.4 will do everything up to needing an enclosure with ambient temperatures above 70 Celsius and a hot end of 300 Celsius. So you're not doing peak in a V2. But you can do nylons and polycarbonates and all that fun stuff in there. So let's see. Live, neutral ground. Set the right screwdriver. Where is my good screwdriver? That'll work. So for my power supplies, I don't have the fancy, I know some people have those breakout bars where you basically can hook everything up to like a common terminal. I don't have that. So what I do is I basically just loop my grounds, my lives, and my neutrals between the two power supplies. There we go. And just make sure everything's up and nice and tight. Go. So that's in there. Did I see this build has a partial enclosure as part of the build? Ben, the V0, or correction, the Switchwire can be fully enclosed. So there, you can enclose it fully. But I don't have mine enclosed, and I won't be enclosing mine simply for the fact I have two enclosed V2s. These are my ABS machines, right? So these are my guys I use for ABS. This is my not ABS machine, basically. Should we test the PSU? Yes, I'll go over that. And Domenico, yes, I did see that. 2 pounds, thank you, man. How's 26 doing since clipperization? It is functioning flawlessly so far. Steven, yes, I got the new logo, like Jared made me this fancy logo. I got it on the wall right now. Ooh. And I'm sticking with the name for now because everything's kind of built around that. I don't think I'll be switching it anytime soon, but yeah, I'm happy with it for now. Okay. So I have my 2 power supplies hooked up. Make sure all the colors are matching. Neutral, live, ground. Buck converter's hooked up. I got my fans up here for cooling. Let me find an extension cord and I'm going to power it on. So what I normally do is as soon as I wire up the power supplies, I power them up just to make sure that I have that part wired up before I hook anything else up to it. For those that watch the intro, sparks do happen when you screw stuff up, which everyone's human. Po Buddy's Nerfic. So what I do is I make sure the power supplies are wired up before I hook any of the, stuff that doesn't like sparks up to it, essentially. So let me find an extension cord here. That will do. Hanging off the edge. Yeah, for the documents for wires, personally I use 16 gauge for all my mains. 18's fine, but I use 16 because I can get that. Okay. Make sure I got a good angle so if it does spark, you guys can all clip it. Hey, no sparks. And then fans are running. This is why I use these fractals, by the way. Those nice and quiet. Okay, kill the power. No sparks. Now, let's see here. Sparks happen when probing to check volt. Yeah, sparks happen when you try to probe your mains voltage. Most of us should assume your house is either, the 120 or the 240 or 110 and 220, whatever it is. Okay. Put our controller boards in. So I have my SKR, if I remember, up here. And the Raspberry Pi was down here, I believe, yeah. Should have taken pictures of this before I took it apart to make sure I put it back together the right way. Actually, yeah, that does use that size. What voltage is Canada? We're in the same as US. We're at what is it, 110 or 120, whatever it is. Yeah, 120. Okay, did I have it that way? Yeah, I had it this way. So. Hello, I saw your iPanel. Oh, the panel do tutorial can use. Yes, so the panel do, for those curious, the panel do plugs in directly to the Raspberry Pi. So if you have a panel do and you want to use it with Clipper, with a ramps controller board, you can do that. Because the panel do connects to the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't connect to your controller board. So you can use it with any controller board you have. Okay, so I'm gonna let that float there because I'm not sure where the final position is. And then I got my SKR. So, by the way, the goal for the stream today is hopefully have some movement. I don't think, well, I didn't print the new M4 extruders yet, so we probably won't be pushing plastic, but the goal for the stream today is hopefully have some movement out of this machine. So, we shall see. Up. Oh, now it makes noise. Tater FPV, $10. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Got most of my stuff on the way for stuff on the way or here already. Greatly appreciate the vids, bud. Thanks, appreciate it. Which one are you building? Is it a Switchwire or one of the other Vorons? David's here. Hello, David. V2, nice. Okay, so we have our wires here. And this is for the power or the controller board. So I already had them made up. Again, I'm rebuilding, so I have all my wires already made and crimped because I'm just reusing them. So I don't need to go through all the crimping again, luckily. Actually, I'm going to shift that up. No, I'm going to move that over. Just a little too tight there. There we go. Now, 300 by 300. That's the good size. That honestly, if you don't know what size to build a V2, build a 300 by 300. Everyone's saying hi to me. I feel so popular. I'm like in high school. Come on, David. You're like Santa Claus, only if people paid Santa Claus, but you still deliver good things. Okay, where did I put them? Oh, they're on the printer. For those that don't know, in the STLs for the Switchwire, there's these little clips that fit in the 3030 extrusions. These are for like zip tying stuff on. So, if you need to zip tie wires, these are really good for wire management. So print like a dozen of them or something. So these just clip into the extrusions, right? So if you want to, you know, you want to zip tie this here, you just, and that clips there, and then a zip tie fits through it. And then you just zip tie it. Which I shouldn't have to go over how a zip tie works. But it's just like that. So now that's relatively secure. But if you ever need to, you can just pull them right out. But it isn't going to fall out on you. But I am going to have to pop that out because I don't put that one there. So let me run this one. Because now it's the fun, boring part where it comes to cable management. Also, you can use these little clips to keep wires in the channel. So, take your wires, cable sleeve them with like the spiral stuff, and then you could just push them into the channel. And then you could also use these little clips to hold them in place. And now they stay in the channel. So these right here is these are all the wires for my bed. Yeah, good wire. Luckily, like, at least with most Vorons, it's kind of designed a little bit with wire managing in mind. Like, you've all seen the bonsai. Actually, how's the overhand kit? I just run overhead. Yeah. Can't really see enough of it there. I'll stick with this one for now. So you have to deal with my hands in the way occasionally, sorry. So we have here just a USB cable that I spliced into the power supply here. And that's how I power my Raspberry Pi. So that's powered. Put one of these here. This is kind of actually awkward to do and not block the camera. Oh wait, that's 2020, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, I'll zip tie those later. So we got our Z motor. Now luckily, I may not have to, I could probably reuse this whole wire, luckily. Trying to remember how I had all the wires last time. Trying to remember why I didn't have sleeving in this area. They all came up and they all went over there. That came under there like that. Oh, that's why. Okay, so this. Hoping I ran enough wire. Yeah. Of course I dropped one in the hole. I won't say this is annoying trying not to cover the camera while doing this, but this is annoying trying to not cover the camera while doing this. So that goes there, that goes there. Zip tie. Yeah, if you're looking just for PEI, CS Hide sells like legit PEI. But they only sell just PEI, so you know, you need a flex plate to go with it. And most people sell flex plates with PEI pre-applied. But if you're looking for like replacement and you're in the US, CS Hide is a damn good option. Oh, I might not have to extend any of these. Nice. But that ain't reaching. So why ain't that reaching? Which was this? This is the bed thermistor. So why aren't the bed thermistor reaching? It should be the same. You know what? I'm gonna have to work backwards here. Cut that. Pop that out. Pop that one out. Okay. Work backwards, work backwards. So I got my bed thermistor, which goes here. And then my Y end stop, which is here. Okay, so those go there. And then this is the bed. So, and I think I missed one. Josh Murray, thank you. $4.99, appreciate it. Sally Forth, yes. Chip chip cheerio, Sally Forth. British slang. Wrong button. I have a bad history of destroying build plates. I destroyed 2 sheets of PEI on my original Voron V1.5, and I haven't screwed one up since, luckily. Of course, I just jinxed myself, but what can you do? I wonder if they do walk-ins like McMaster-Carr. Considering we have a global pandemic right now, probably not. Oh, and by the way, if you guys hear any mic strikes, like hear the mic like pop or crack, let me know. I think the position I got it at right now is pretty good. Because I know on the part 2 video on printing ABS, I had a few there I didn't realize till I started editing. Okay, so how... Okay, now it magically fits. How did I not have this before and now it fits? I probably just pulled it a little too tight here. Yeah, that's why I had it too tight there. So you know what? I'm going to run this like that. Ooh. Oh, David. Welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. So that can go in there. No pops or crackle, and no mic strikes. Nice, that's good. Okay, so I found a good spot for it then. Okay. So this guy runs across the top here. And that is whatever motor that is. Okay, so let's hook up the mains for the 24 for the bed. I need a flathead. By the way, board designers, either Phillips or flathead. Pick one and stick with it. Don't flip-flop. It's annoying. Also, board designers. 6 integrated TMC 2209s. 3 CNC fans, and a built-in PT100. Do it now. Oh, and all the TFT headers and RX, TX and RX connectors too. Yes, Robertson. Yes, Robertson, all the screw heads. Love me some Robertsons. Okay, so what do we got here? This is Z and stop. Okay, so that goes in there. Also, JST. Don't use JST. Molex KK. All the fittings. Molex KK. We got our hot end thermistor. And then we have our X and stop. Okay. So what do we have next? So that's a motor. This is a motor. Never seen any Robertson screw in the UK. Common in Canada, relatively common in the US. Torx is good, but the problem with Torx is the small size Torx, usually the screw, the bits have a tendency to get destroyed relatively easily. At least that's what I've seen. Okay, so this is a fan. That is that. Okay, so these all run up to here, so let's put another connector in here just to hold everything in place. Move all this over here. Y motor. Stuff it all in the channel. I'd cable sleeve it, but I think I'm out. Or actually, no, I have more. I'm just too lazy to go find some. There we go. Stuff that all in there. There we go. Okay. So this is my Y motor. So we'll write on it so I don't forget. Because this is the one from down here. Ooh, that's tight, but it works. Oh, that's perfect. A little bit more slack through all these. Okay, so for those playing along at home, the wires that come with the LDO motors should be long enough. So yeah, the wires that come with the LDO motors are long enough. Shouldn't need to trim them. Nice. That is good. Good job, Jason. Okay, so we have fan. Like, this is an SKR 1.3. There is only, like, one CNC fan on it. Like, look how big this board is. You have one CNC fan on it. Actually, this is 24 volt. Like, I think the SKR 1.4 has two, if I'm not mistaken. I know the E3 Turbo has two. But, like, come on, guys. More controllable fans. It's a little MOSFET. It's cheap. Why the built-in Pt100? So for those that don't know, a Pt100 is like so we use a lot of thermistors in 3D printing. A Pt100 is an amplification board that allows you to use a thermocouple to measure temperature instead of thermistor. Thermocouples can withstand higher temperatures and they're more accurate than a thermistor. So at, you know, printing ABS temperatures, 240-ish, whatever and below, thermistor is usually okay. But once you start pushing like high temps, or you just want more accuracy, a Pt100 is the way to go. They're more accurate. So when it says like 240, it's really 240 versus a thermistor where you can have a little bit of drift once you get away from the sweet spot. So the problem is you can't just use them and plug them in. You need an amplification board in between. Now, unlike a Duet, you can get like a plug-in board, or there's the Pt100 stick that one of the community members in the Voron Discord, I think Raymond, I believe, designed. That plugs into an open slot for a driver, but you need to have a board that has a driver, a spare driver. So say, you know, if I want to put a PT100 stick in here, I would need to have another driver slot free or remove one of my extruders. So it'd be nice to have a board that just could take a thermocouple right away. So, yes, Raymond. So, oh, that's a hot end. Okay, so I got 2 fans here. So luckily, or like this one, it's fine because it's mostly going to be a PLA machine, but ooh, Josh Murray, thank you for signing up. Go. Now, luckily on a lot of these boards that only have like 1 fan, you still have 2 hot end hookups, MOSFETs. So you can use one of the MOSFETs for a heater cartridge to run a fan. Because if it can run a hot end, it can run a fan. So that's how I have the 2 fans. And then these fans are always on. That's why I went with the quiet fans, because these fans are always on for controller cooling. Get those in there. Okay, that's good there, that's good there. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, the fans. So, yeah, and random MOSFETs for LEDs would be nice. So let's go up, way up. Now, in design, these little fans here, which let me check see if they're in the CAD. Yeah. So the fans call for literally just being taped to the side. And then basically they're kind of held in there between the top plate and the bottom plate. And it works just fine. So you literally can just tape them. But the problem is, I think that's like an 80 mil fan. That won't work here. These are 60s. So what I do, other than drop them a million times, I take out one of these screws up here that are for the front panel, and I just kind of have it hanging off one screw. And that's usually enough to have the air blow down. Now, you really only need a fan on this side, but I have 2 just for wind tunnel effect because it's cool. Why not 2 PSUs? This is like a good bang for the buck solution. Like, yeah, you can get power supplies that can output multiple voltages. Or you can just get like a good, because this one is only powering the Raspberry Pi. Some of my printers have one of these, some of them have a buck. The reason I go with these personally is these I find are a lot more stable than a lot of buck converters. A lot of the cheaper buck converters, especially the ones that only output 3 amp, can be a little finicky. And when it comes to power supplies powering the thing that, makes your printer run, you don't want to be too, you don't want to cheap out too much. That's why I got 16 mils. Nope, I need a longer one. 20 mil? Oh yeah, if I remember, I didn't have the right size screw, so I had to use a long screw and then a bunch of spacers. Yep. That's why I had a bunch of M3 washers. This isn't a stock setup for the fans, by the way, for those that don't know for some reason. Is VHP conductive? No, it is not. At least as far as I know, it's not. Like, if you're worried, like on this guy, this buck converter is actually now that I think about it, it's in a little printed, this is a little printed clip that I found on Thingiverse, and this clip is taped to the power supply, and then the buck converter just snaps into it. And it just sits there. Yes, so for those, this is an LRS 350. It's a 350 because this is a DC bed. On the Voron V1, V2, because it's a main bed, it's spec'd with an LRS 200, which luckily the 200 doesn't need a fan. This one does need a fan, and when it kicks on, it is audible, unfortunately. I guess people have opened these up to replace the fans, but personally, I'm not a huge fan of opening up power supplies unless I absolutely need to. Which, I don't care about noise in this room, so. There we go. If you had your own machine shop, would you make any changes to the design of Voron? I asked because I do have the CAD software and like to know if I can take advantage of it. So when it comes to like changing the design for CNC, like say you wanted to, you know, I wanted to CNC this. Basically, this one's actually like the simplest one to CNC because you don't need like the gantry to be able to flex a little bit like the V2. But like these, for example, the XZ idlers, these could literally just be cut plates with holes in them, and then spacers, like just literally pipes cut to size. This right here can easily be a single piece plate because, you know, metal is stiffer than plastic. So that could easily be like a single piece plate with like a little bracket on it. Same with the front idler, plate and spacers. Same with the rear here, plate and spacers. Like, you can simplify this design. This right here could literally just be like 2 pieces of metal. Like, you can simplify the heck out of a lot of the Voron designs if you go to machining. The problem is then you need machining to get it done. And you got to remember, everything with Voron is designed so you can do it yourself at home with, you know, a set of Allen keys and, you know, wire strippers. Like, you don't need complicated tools to build this. So the point that we, you know, suddenly require machined components, that kind of throws everything out the window. That's why everything's designed with FDM in mind. So, sorry, which do you, oh, just got here. What do I prefer, 12 or 24 volt fans? I run pretty much 24 volt for all my fans when I can. These fans are always on, so I run 12 volts. So this guy and my two V2s, my two V2s, I have Noctua fans. I have 40 millimeter Noctua fans for the controller board cooling. On this guy, they're fractal fans, but they're CPU fans that are meant for like low noise. And I just use a cheapo buck converter to drop down to 12 volt. But my hot end fans, my part cooling fans, those are all 24 volt, just to make wiring simple, because I don't care about noise. Usually you can get better fans in 12 volt, especially noise. You can get quieter fans in 12 volt. But my printers have their own room, so I really don't care about noise levels that much. There it is, CNC aluminum switchwire kits on AliExpress. Really? This is the one Voron that has like, this is the one Voron you probably could build out of PLA parts and it would probably be just fine. And somebody went and machined aluminum parts. Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Like, just think, if you want to know, go to the Voron Discord, go to the section print showcase, and look at all the pictures of prints there, especially like Dunar. That guy does a lot of sexy prints on his printers. And everything on those are all printed with stock Vorons for the most part. You know, some people might have upgraded part fans or whatnot. So you see all those amazing prints. What would spending hundreds on aluminum parts get you beyond that? So. It's more fun to carve them out of a solid block of aluminum. Yeah, I don't have a CNC yet, so. Wow. Plus, you have to remember everything. Like, I bet you 100% all those parts are just literally, they're not designed for CNC. They literally probably just took the STLs and just machined them. So, who knows how that's going to be in the long run. That's one. Oh yeah, I gotta put the motors in this still. Okay, one. Yeah. I haven't hooked up all the motors yet. So that's two. Right. Yep, two. They did make some changes? Okay. What filament sensors are most people running on Vorons? In terms of runout sensors, I think a few people are running like the Triangle Labs ones. But I know a lot of people don't even bother. Like, none of my printers have filament runout sensors. I usually don't run my filament spools that low. If I think I'm going to run out of filament on a print, I'll throw a new spool in, and I'll just use that partial spool for something small until it's empty. Gotta make sure these are kind of out of the way a bit, because fan airflow. So you're saying I shouldn't create a sand mold and cast the Voron parts in titanium for extra rigidity. You don't, well, put it this way, if you can cast your Voron parts in titanium, go right ahead, man. Just for the Gucci factor, just for the flex, like, if you have the ability to cast titanium, go for it. Now be aware, you're gonna have to machine it after still, because there's no way you're getting tolerances good enough with casting. But go for it. What black magic does Dunar do to get his prints to look like that? I'm pretty sure there's some eldritch gods somehow involved, some Cthulhu, Flatong, Gafargan stuff, I don't know. Something's going on there. Okay. Which motor is which? So, this was this motor. And this is my Z. Okay, so this one's Z. So that means this one is X. Right? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So cable manage those. I got all the extra motors. I may be going wireless soon. This is already getting annoying, but it's worth it. Is there a V3 coming? There is nothing planned for a V3. Like, think of it this way. Like, the V1 is a traditional Core XY. The V2 is a Flying Gantry Core XY. V0 is a small standard Gantry Core XY. You know, it's the third one. So technically that should have been V3, but it's small, so we called it V0. So if V3 were to ever come out, it would have to be a different design. Because it only gets the V number. Like, it only gets V number if it's a Core XY. That's why Switchwire is Switchwire. Well, Switchwire is Switchwire because originally it was Capstan. I hate JST. I hate JST. There we go. So you go under there. Go back in there. There we go. Hide the extra wires in the channel. I am running out of these little clips. Crud. Oh well. Am I all out of these clips already? I am. Yes, I'm totally stuffing wires in the 30-30 extrusions to hide them. It works. Oh, but the backfeed! The EMF! That'll work. There we go. Haha. There we go. Okay, let me just catch up on chat there. What's your opinion of the JG Maker A5S? Unfortunately, like literally all my printers are self-built. The last printer I bought was a Monoprice Select Mini, and that was a Christmas gift 3 years ago. So unfortunately, I can't really make any opinions on like box printers because I've never used any of them. You'd have to go online, look for reviews. If you're looking for a cheap printer that just works, just go buy like an Ender 3 V2. That's personally, I have one on the way. So at some point we are going to be doing an Ender 3 stream and we are going to beat the hell out of that thing. So Monoprice Master Race. 3 years ago, the MP Select Mini was a good value. Nowadays with the Ender 3, it is not a good value. They're still like $200-300 when I see them new. And you outgrow the MP Select Mini so quick. I think within 3 months I was building a Voron, not even. So why am I so scared to run wiring and belts? You just saw me do it. It's not hard. Just make sure you don't have it plugged in when you do it. So, got our screen plugged in. We got our fans plugged in. What am I missing? I am missing Raspberry Pi. There we go. That goes there. If I'm not mistaken, I had it go underneath here. No, that's too much. Too much flex. There we go. That's that. There we go. And that just kind of hide it underneath the Raspberry Pi. There we go. I don't have a heat sink on that guy. Let's see. I know I have one somewhere. There we go. Okay, do we want blue or silver? Let's go with blue. I can get one that still has a sticker on it. There we go. Voron Delta. There's no plans for a Voron Delta. Like, no offense, Deltas look really cool, but notice how nobody's making Deltas anymore. Like, think about it. When you look about at like what kind of printers are being built now, like all the new printers, nobody's building Deltas anymore. Like, Deltas are kind of forgotten. Ooh, Andrew, thanks for becoming a member. Like that meme, it's, you know, 2021 and I am forgotten. Nobody does Deltas anymore. I'm sure, what's his name? Nimac? With his stupid fast benchy prints on his Delta might get a few people to build one, but fortunately there's too many, like, downsides to a Delta versus other current designs. The only reason to build a Voron Delta would be to build a Voron Delta. Pretty much. And I'm already tangled up. Ugh. Like, I built Switchwire to build Switchwire originally. Now it's a nice little test bed printer, but okay, I'll give you guys a close up. But here's the wiring. So we got our screen, 2 fans, SKR. We got our Raspberry Pi, power supplies, buck, main in. And there we go. So, Stefan. How do you know which one it is? Thank you. So let's feed it power and make sure we get some blinky lights and no smoke. By the way, this took a lot less time than I thought it would. I was planning to be like 10:30, 11. Oh, hey, let's see if it moves. Not 9:30. Okay. Do you guys want the close-up cam? Yeah, let's do close-up cam. That one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ah. Ta-da! By the way, just so you can hear, let me pause this. So here's the ambient temps. So I don't have noise canceling on right now. So that ain't bad. It's on. It's doing things. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing things. So let's flip it up. And let's see if it moves. I'll put the, I'm not going to put the bottom compartment on right now, simply for the fact that I don't have the motors in it. I don't got any extruders. So, I don't even know what firmware this is running. I'm hoping it's running. I think it's got firmware on it. It should be. Should be connecting. Oh, no, that's the wrong printer. Come on, connect. That's one thing I still need to do. I still need to run Ethernet in this room. I have the one cable going to the computer, but I need to run actual, like, now that I have the desks in and like the benches and everything set up, I need to run like an actual switch in here so I can plug everything in. Let me see here. What is my router again? What is this router? I'm not on my thing yet. Okay. Is it connected? Octopi. No, it says it's connected. Yeah, let me try rebooting it. Let's just see if it homes. No, it doesn't. Home XY. Okay, it's moving, but it ain't homing, so obviously we got to play around with the firmware. Okay, turn it back on. Hopefully it connects to the Wi-Fi this time. Is there plans to sell these as a kit? None of the Vorons are kits. They're all meant to be self-sourced DIY printers. If you want to build a Voron, let me hide this one here. 1 second. Gotta remember I'm streaming. I can't see my desktop. There we go. If you want to build a Voron, this is where you go. You go to vorondesign.com. You want to build a Switchwire. There's all the STLs you got to print. There's your CAD, and there's the bill of materials if you want to source it yourself. There's a few vendors in China that sell parts kits and a few other places, but it's meant to be a self-built printer. Like Voron Design is not a company. I am just a member of it. I'm not even like a designer. I'm just a guy who helps them with design input and testing, and somehow I'm now a YouTuber. I don't know, but it's meant to be a self-built printer. It's not a company, because none of us want to deal with running a company, especially right now. So hey, it's running main sale. So put that under there. I may have to invert the pin. Main sale config, printer config. Stepper X, stepper Z. Probe. I think I have to invert the pin. Save. Or restart. Okay, so it's showing that it's open. Triggered. It's triggered. Okay, it's still showing triggered. Why is it still showing triggered? triggered. Why are they all showing triggered? They all shouldn't be triggered. Okay, something's funky here. Because they shouldn't all be triggered. Yeah, something's going on here. Settings. Oh, you're right. I might have it. Shoot, that's probably what it is. I probably have it in the wrong plug. That might do it. Ugh. Who was that? Who was that with the idea? Raymond. Yeah, so I have them all here. It might have to be that other one. I hate JST. I hate JSTs. Ow. There we go. Okay. Power. What are we at right now? We got 157 people. Dang. Nobody else has anything better to do on a Saturday night, eh? Not complaining. I'm the one in here too. Okay, let's see. Come on, connect, connect, connect. Okay. So, our end stops are all open. Okay, X is triggered. Y is triggered. Now, I might have to re-invert Z. Oh, it is triggered. And now it's open. Okay. So, let's home X. Well, let's home Y. Make sure Y works. Nope, going the wrong way. Stop. So if that one's backwards. Yes, I know I could have stepper buzzed, by the way, but whatever. I'm drinking beer. I'm drinking water. LTT tips. Store, lttstore.com. Yeah, where did I put it? There you go. LTT store. Okay. So settings, config, printer config, direction for my Y is invert. So I'm thinking my X and my Y, or my X and my Z are gonna have to be inverted too. So let's just do that right now. Because if one's backwards, odds are they all backwards because I swapped, I'm just running the wires as they come out of the motor with the pre-assembled connector. I probably will be getting beer soon, though. because I'm hungry. And remember, pro tip, beer is just liquid bread. Okay, so we are connected. Temperatures are working, so that's good. Okay, home Y. Yay! Home X. Yay! Home Z. Come on, don't crash the nozzle. Okay, we're done. Good night. Let me run the whole routine. Home all. Sweet. Mic cable. Mic cable. Mic cable. Right. Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Okay. So we got that there. Got that there. Oh, yes, racking. Okay. So, I probably should have done this before powering it up, but I guess it's kind of good that we're powered up now. So with, it's a Core XY gantry, but vertical. So it's Core XZ. So what that means is you have to deal with racking. Now, with this guy, for those watching the stream last week when we belted it up, the belts are just tight by me yanking on them as tight as I can. I haven't actually gone through and tightened the belts using the motors. What's the ambience on this? Yeah, the motors are humming a little bit. I got to set the motor voltages and whatnot. So what you have to do now is I have to tension the belts properly, because right now they are a little loosey-goosey. But you also have to make sure your gantry is not racked. Now, when I built it, I assembled everything to the upper limits here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think I should have. But right now we have 54 millimeters on this side. And, okay, 54 millimeters. So I don't have any racking in my gantry right now. But what I have to do is I have to tension my belts, okay? So I will show you how to do that right now, because right now they are pretty loose. So look at these professional angles now. Remember, you guys made this all possible. Also, this is like the cheapest tripod I could buy on Amazon. Time to organize some screws. Hey, NerdQ, if you push your luck, all these parts have heat set inserts I have to take out, okay? If you push your luck, that might be a stream. A kid. This is my first view of a Core XZ. This is it. It's honestly, take a Core XY, flip the gantry vertical, and then what you do is you get this. Lighting you ain't gonna see it in the lighting. Keyback brand keyback, which is nothing but a fancy key retainer, like for a keychain, and use that as a counterweight so that your gantry doesn't come crashing down. Because take a Core XY, flip it on its back, your gantry will fall. This prevents it. So anyways, let's tension some belts. Sally would probably watch that. I did a stream where I sorted screws and people watched it. Now, granted, that was like back when I started, and I think I had like 20 people, but I'm surprised I had 20 people. So these are the two screws that actually lock everything in place. So what you're going to do is you're going to loosen them so that your motor can move. Oh my God. And then this little piece right here is clipped into the extrusion. You're going to basically push it kind of against the extrusion here. And you're just going to tighten it using the screw. And that's going to pull it down. Now, my set screw, or these T-nuts here, won't allow me to get perfectly flush, I think. I might have that issue. Or no, it's just warped. But, yeah, you just screw these down, and that's how you tension your belt. So, there you go. And then I use the top, like, when I'm feeling for the tension, I have my gantry at the bottom, and then I push on the top. That's what I use to kind of judge. And then once you're happy, you just tighten the M5 nuts back on. Make sure that, Ryan B, $13.99, just invest in some new inserts. No, because I have like 100 inserts there. I need to save them, but thank you though. Make sure that this isn't tilted. If it's tilted, this belt won't run straight. So. I'm about to install a third key back on my V2. Yeah, Josh, you're running direct drive though. You're running, like, you don't have any gearing on your Z though. So what do you got? You have 2 in the back and now 1 in the front, or 3 in the back? Yeah, you might as well have a key back per corner, honestly, at that point. Any tips on removing inserts with the ball from extrusion or on accident? I put M3s where the M5 should be. Yes, here. Oh, this is a crappy one. I got a few that have fucked up balls. Oop, I swore. I'm gonna get demonetized. Okay. Okay, so you got your extrusion, you got your nut in there. So to get it out, you slide it out the end. But if you can't slide it out the end, use something sharp and pointy. Where did I put it? Like a small flathead. And what you can do is you can kind of like reach in there and just kind of slap it down. Okay, so see how it's got this little trench right there on the one side? Once it's in, if you can get like a flathead screwdriver up into that trench and then just kind of push against it and flick down, they usually come out. Usually they'll come out. Does my keyback make a clicking sound? No. So you can open up the keyback, okay? You have to be very careful doing it because the spring is just a sprung spring. So when you open it, you gotta like get your thumb in there and hold it down. But it's basically, it's like a metal bearing, right? So the wire, the rope, runs against a metal flanged bearing or it's plastic. It's plastic on plastic. So what I did was I opened mine up and I actually put a few drops of super lube oil in there. I think it was super lube oil. I don't know. It was an oil, and I oiled it up, and now it's, you know, like, it's relatively quiet. So, but if it's clicking, odds are there might be like a burr, in like the flashing from the injection molding. There might be like a little burr. And it might just be catching on something. So you may have to open it up. You can open them up. Just be careful because it is, you know, a tension spring. Wear safety glasses. For the love of God, wear safety glasses. Nobody has lost an eye building a Voron yet. We don't want you to be the first. Now, here's the magical tip when it comes to belt tensioning. Because people ask me all the time, how do I know when my belts are tensioned? Make sure they're the same and just kind of eyeball it. That's what I do. I literally don't do anything fancy when it comes to belt tensioning. I just make sure they're the same and they're kind of tight, but not too tight. Because if you have them too tight, you'll have issues. You'll see the belt marks in the print. And that's even with tooth idlers. So I got them up. I actually might have them a little too tighter, or too tight than what I would normally like, but. Okay. So right now I have everything actually configured for the old motors. So let's take a looky-loo here. Printer config. So, is anyone in chat right now running the LDO motors for Switchwire in their Switchwire? I'm just wondering what people are running for voltages, because right now I have them at 0.8. I know they're 2 amp motors. I'm just wondering what people are running them at. Well, Core XZ isn't flying gantry. It's just the V2 has a flying gantry. You don't need to have a flying gantry for Core XZ. Like the V0 over here, that's just a regular Core XY. Yeah, I'm running the 13 ounce keyback, but I also, this is a Bowden, so I don't have a motor on there. Trying to catch up on chat right now. Would minor belt tension variations have any effect on your resonance setting on Clipper? Yes. If you change your belt tension, you have to rerun Input Shaper, for example. Right now I'm checking to actually make sure I didn't rack it doing that, but I think I'm pretty close. So that's what, 54? Yeah, close enough. So let's see what my bed mesh is at, actually. They're 1.6 amp. Yes, they are 1.6 amp. It's the V2 ones, I think, are 2 amp. Okay, let's run a height map, a bed mesh. Height map. This is an old version of Moonraker, or of where's bed mesh? Console. Height map. Calibrate? Yeah, sure. Let's see how the bed is. 500 current, 300 hold. 500 milliamp. Okay, so I might be running them a little higher. Because right now I'm running them on the motors I had before were the stepper motors, stepper online, 17HS60, I don't know, 64 ounce stepper online motors. These motors are like old. I also run it in spread cycle mode. All my printers I run full spread cycle. I don't have input, I don't use Stealth Chop. Ooh, that's a funky bed. Okay, there's the bed. So we got one low corner. So what are we still negative? Ooh, 0.3. And then the high point is, what's the high point? 0.03. So 0.3 to 0.03. Now, if you honestly think about it, that ain't bad. Most people run like 0.3 millimeter as their first layer height. So we are within one layer from the highest point to the lowest point on this bed. Remember, this bed is fixed. Like, it is fixed down. So it looks a lot worse than it really is, but it's really 0.3 millimeter, which is, what, 4, 8, 12 thousandths of an inch. From the highest point to the lowest point is 12 thousandths of an inch. So, and remember, with Core XZ, you do not need to worry about noise from bed mesh leveling because it just treats it like a curve. Because both motors are constantly running, so you don't have that of it running. It's fixable, yeah, but I don't care. I just run bed mesh on my Switchwire. Z offset though, we do need to fix our Z offset because I have no idea where the hell we're at with my Z offset. So, I need a piece of paper. Is that heated? No, the bed's cold right now. What are these numbers? I don't know. Okay. So, let's go down. I will say this probe, I'm running the China Omron probe, which really isn't V-stock, it's more just China knockoff of an Omron probe. Before I had the PL05, and the this guy is definitely sensing the bed higher. Because right now, or actually no, it wouldn't matter because I moved the probe anyways. So I can't even guarantee what the, like it's not the original position. Because right now I'm at negative 1.2. There we go. Okay. So negative 1.6. Yeah, negative 1.6. So settings, configure. Bed mesh, probe, offset. So if I'm at 1.3 above and I'm at negative 1.6, that would be negative 0.3. No, that can't be right. No, it'd be adding to it, right? 1.3 plus 1.6, so 2.9. Right? Yeah. I don't know, we'll find out in a second. I always do the math wrong backwards the first time anyways. Come on. Okay. Four. Yep, we're good. No, I needed to add. There we go. So we're good there. Let me go up a bit. Okay. So I gotta trim my belts. My belts are dragging, and that ain't good. There we go. So that's good there. Make sure that ain't rubbing. Make sure that ain't rubbing. So we're good there. I'm gonna have to fix that one day still. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that, but that ain't a big deal. Okay. So see what else we can play with. Printer config. Actually, what is it? What's probe calibrate? I think it is. Probe calibrate. No, that ain't it. Cancel. Cancel. Abort. I want to test the probe accuracy. I think it's probe accuracy, actually. Yeah. So, probe accuracy result, maximum, minimum. So the probe is within 0.01. Yeah, 0.01. 0.0125, which I believe is a step. So we have a 1-step variance over 10 probes. I can live with that. So we're good there. Ship it. Yep, ship it. I haven't printed the Mobius 4s. Well, they're not Mobius 4s, they're M4 extruders. Ooh, I just took a chunk out of my finger. Great. But I do have a jetpack, which I can slap on this guy real quick. And we can print something. So let's print something. Ooh, I never seen Octoprint look like that. Is this Voron or a Clipper plugin? This is Mainsail. So I am not running Octoprint. This is running Clipper on Mainsail. So for example, this is Mainsail. Now you don't have to run Mainsail. There's two options right now for standalone Clipper interfaces. There's Fluid, which is this one right here. This is on V2.26. This is a newer version of Fluid. This still isn't even the latest version of Fluid. This is a newer version of Fluid than this is a version of Mainsail. This is an outdated version of Mainsail. I need to update it. Like this is V, whenever that one came out, 2.3. So these are if you want to run like, you don't want to deal with Octoprint because Octoprint's bloated. You want something lightweight, simple, Fluid or Mainsail. Benefit is it's so lightweight you can run it on a Pi 0 and it runs fine on a Pi 0. None of my printers, all of these printers, all 5 of them here, run Clipper and they're all running either Fluid or Mainsail. Okay, turn that off. Pretty sure, yeah, that's extruder 1. Yeah, that would be extruder 1. Okay, let's print something, guys. I don't know what I'm going to print. I'm going to print something. Extruder, well, 0, I guess. E0. Yep. Okay, that goes there. That goes there. Bowden. I need a Bowden tube. Where is my Bowden tube? Bowden tube. I know I have some somewhere. That's actually a good question. Oh, there it is. Haha. Bowden tube. Yeah, I'll put that in there. That one can go there. Sure, why not? Okay. Power back on. I gotta go in the other room and get the holder for the spool holder, so I'll be back. Coda, come here. Come here. Up. Oh, come on, up. I know, you're getting old. Oh, hey, buddy. Can you say hi? Oh, it's a good boy. Okay, go back to mama. Puppy. There we go. Brian B, $6.99. Doggo. Yes, doggo. Good doggo. Okay. Filaments. So, get some PLA out. Good old PLA. We'll use some red PLA. We like red PLA. Pretty sure this is inland PLA. I do have some stuff from Everyone, I believe they're called. They sent me some filament. They wanted me to send filament, or they wanted to send filament to me. So they sent me filament. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta clean up the hot end. I forgot about that. Okay, it's going off. Why is chat going off like, oh my god, okay. Oh, meet you. Thank you for becoming a member. E2Q number guy. Wolf, thanks for the tip and background noise. You're welcome. Okay, so I gotta heat this up. So, and while that's doing that, let me open up Slicer. Oh yeah, I gotta downloads. Oh, I think I put a shortcut on the desktop. Slicer. Is he outside the door? Why are you whining? What? What? Here. Coda, come here. Might as well use you for entertainment. Come here. Okay, sit. Sit. Shake paw, shake paw. Oh, he's a good boy. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Is Mama ignoring you? Is that why you came down here? I'm trying to do printer streams. I'm trying to entertain. Can't do this if you keep coming in here. Okay? You good? Oh, nope, nope. No, you're not good. You got the cable. Okay, go. There you go. Okay, go see Mama. The shit I gotta deal with. Dog is more entertaining. Okay. I gotta heat the extruder up, so do that. Because I remember we have filament in the hot end we gotta clear out. Okay, so that's going fine. Good, good, good. Somebody find something on Thingiverse for me to print. Roughly about an hour print time. In the meantime, I need to steal some G-code. There we go. So I got to make a profile for this printer. Yeah, this is a default. Okay, file. Later. Trying to remember how to create a new my German. See, whenever people say GSD, it's just German Shepherd. I never use the term GSD. Like, I didn't even realize it was a thing until like I was almost an adult. He's Shepherd Husky actually. He's half, like 3/4 or quarter, not 3/4. He's like quarter or half Husky actually. Configuration wizard. Okay, so there is no Prusa Slicer profile for Switchwire. There's no like official profile for anything. So what you do is you tell it you have a Prusa Mark III, and then you tell it isn't slow. So that's basically what I do. So you tell it you have a Prusa Mark III. Next. Next. I don't know, whatever that is. Custom printer, whatever. Filaments. Yeah, sure, all of them. Updates, whatever. No, I don't want updates. I'm not even running the newest version of Prusa Slicer on here. Next. Next. Expert mode. Finish. There we go. Okay. So I have a Prusa Mark III here, which technically it's a Prusa bed. So max print height 210, 230. X, Y, sure. Extruder 1, Marlin. Custom G-code. Oh my god, all this stuff. I gotta fix all that. Look at all this starting G-code. Delete. Delete. Actually, while it's doing that, let me feed through this filament now. There we go. Okay. So let me make sure the extruder is extruding. So it will extrude 20 millimeters of plastic at 5 millimeters a second. Extrude. There we go. Okay, so it is working. And let's get rid of all this crappy pink. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. More apps. Nope, that'll work. Right now, I'm just creating a profile. So right now, just listen to the music. Somebody find something fun on Thingiverse for me to print, with like an hour-ish print time with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I think I got a 0.4 in there. Yeah, I got a 0.4 in there. Print a chess pawn or a rook, Voron cube. I could do the Voron cube, I guess. I don't know. I just kind of want to do something a little bit different. I know we did the, I'm trying to remember what we did last time. Okay, so we got G92, G1, G92, G1. Yeah. I don't know why it does this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, right now I'm just setting, does this setup have the same print quality like a V2? Pretty much. You're not going to have the exact same Z height accuracy because it's only 0.0125 for Z steps versus 0.0025. But let's be honest, we're all printing at 0.2 millimeters anyway, so it doesn't matter. But all Vorons print the same as long as you take the time to tune them right. It's just some print faster than others and some have some features that others may not have. Right now I'm just stealing my starting and ending G code from some previously sliced stuff. And then, what is my ending G code? There we go. Okay. So, there's my starting. I got that. Bed mesh calibrate. Boom, boom, boom. Thingiverse. Let's go to Thingiverse. Oh, this chart right here, it's pinned in the Voron Discord. If you go to home your Switchwire and it's not homing right, like mine is because I already have a configuration. Remember, this is a rebuild. So if your homing wasn't, you try to home X and it moves up or it moves down or it moves backwards, there's a chart here pinned in the Voron Discord in the Switchwire section, and that will tell you what you need to do to make it move right. There's also one for the V2 and the V1 and the V0 as well. Thingiverse. So what thing? 470. Oh my god, Thingiverse. Oh yes, the Ghost Benchy. Yeah, let's do this. Download all files. Yes, I seen this Ghost Benchy. Let's do the Ghost Benchy. I'm not gonna print a ding ding. I actually have never printed a ding ding yet. As for the cost of a Switchwire, you can build a Switchwire cheaper than you could buy a Prusa Mark III, current Prusa Mark III. That's usually what I say when people ask how much it costs to build one. You could build one cheaper than you could buy a Prusa. Okay, so Ghost Benchy. That's not bad. Print settings. Now, right now, extruder 1. I'm trying to remember what my extruder... Oh, actually, yeah, it would be saved, wouldn't it? Retraction. It doesn't save it. Length. Yeah. Thought it would save that. I think I have like 3. Yeah, we'll run with 3. Yeah, 4 mil retraction. Sure, why not? 35, 25. Sure. So we got a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. Layer height 0.001. What the heck is this? Oh, it's ultra detail. Jesus Christ. Heck you doing here, Prusa? Okay, 0.2. We'll go 0.3 first layer. 150%. I ain't got all night, man. Solid layers. 3 perimeter. Infill, 15% gyroid, sure, that works. Skirt brim, sure. Speed, here we go, okay. Perimeters, 40. Or no, perimeters, that's that. So yeah, 80. Small perimeter, 40. External perimeter, 40. Infill, 100. Solid infill, 80, 60. Support material. Oh, not print support. Bridges, slow, yep. Travel, 300. Actually, 200 is a bed flinger. First layer speed, 20, yeah, sure, that's fine. Perimeters, acceleration. What? Oh, I haven't tuned acceleration on this guy, so we will run Prusa acceleration for now. The next stream will be tuning this guy, by the way. I just want to get a print out of it. White Tower, what is this stuff? That's good enough for now, I think. Ooh, that's hot. 200. Other layers, 190. Cooling, 100. Okay. Slice. Two hours? How the heck is this? This can't be right. This cannot be a 2-hour print. Well, we'll let it run, but that cannot be a 2-hour print. Like, saying 3 hours. That cannot be 3 hours. That cannot be right. There is no way that could be 3 hours. I know gyroid takes extra time, but not 3 hours. Like, I can do a benchy in 10 minutes. Switchwire. Heat the bed up. Well, we'll let it run. Whatever. If it takes too long, I'll just let it finish off stream. Press benchy. Okay, let's try infill. Grid. Still saying 2 hours. Yeah, there's no way this is a 2-hour print. Like, I'm printing at like 40 millimeters a second here for all these small like, yeah, there's a lot of small details, but geez. Well, we'll let it run. Whatever it is, like... do I have minimum layer time? No? Oh well. Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, well, we'll let it run. Like, if it's like looking like it's going to be a while, I'll just bump it up. Okay, 60. Why did you turn off? Did I turn off by accident? So we're letting that heat up, and then we're going to let it print. I think I have, yeah, I gotta clean the bed. Still have glue stick on it, of all things. Why is there glue stick on it? I don't know. I think I tried printing Pt3, and this is a Triangle Labs textured flex plate, and I'm not the super happiest with it. I need to get an LVO one or something at some point. Or just do what some people have done and sand it flat and just stick a PEI sticker on it. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the TL Flex plate. Like, it came with, you know, it was like not that much more than just getting it with the printer. So I might as, or getting it with the bed itself, so. Okay, we're just letting the bed heat up, get to a stable-ish temperature. LDO, personally, if put it this way, if LDO is an option, LDO is a good option. Running out of water, I'm gonna have to go get a beer soon. So, right now, I probably should have continued with tuning, but I didn't want to go into, I have to pre-install the stuff for input shaper and whatnot. So the next stream on the Switchwire will be doing input shaper, doing pressure advance, doing like tuning, and then I want to do a stream on this guy dedicated specifically to dual extrusion, because this is my dual extrusion machine. For those that don't know, it has 2 Bonin inlets for a reason. So I've got some PLA from Area 1 that they were kind enough to provide, so I'm gonna have to review it, I guess, at some point. I've never done a filament review. That's gonna be interesting, but I will be doing a stream where we just play around with dual extrusion with this guy at some point in the future. I don't know if they will be consecutive, because at some point I'm getting an Ender 3, and I'm going to unbox that on stream as well. So we shall see. I might have to do more weekday streams if I have time. So I still can't believe I almost had 300 people watching the stupid speed benchies, of all things. Spend time doing tutorial videos. Print benchy really fast. Beat everything else in views. I'm just gonna be a speed benchy channel, I think. Just do speed benchies. YouTube likes it more. Yeah, whatever, good enough. PLA is hard to review. Basically, I think I'm just gonna do a bunch of dual extrusion. I'll just do the Joel thing and just print a bunch of stuff and show it off using their filament. So we'll see. I need to stock up. Like right now, like my filament stores. So let's see. So that top one is PLA. And that's like all I have for PLA. And that's also PETG. And I think HIPS is in there. And then I have like 3 spools of PLA there. The rest is all ABS. Like I'm mostly ABS. Because that's normally what I print a lot of. But now that I'm, you know, professional YouTuber, not really. But now that I'm doing stuff like that, I kind of need PLA now. Okay, that's hot enough. G-code, Ghost Benchy, go! I think I have dog hair on the printer bed. God dang it. Get back here. Hurricane Laura launched my Ender 3 Pro 5 feet off my desk and I still can print. I can't say anything bad about them after that. I guess not. I am going to have to play with the motor currents though. Not super happy with the way they're sounding. Oh well. Yeah, I don't have any black PLA. I got some white PLA, but no black. So. But I got tons of black ABS. So if I need anything in black, I'm just going to need printed in ABS. Like, come on. I gotta put the G code or the thing in the configuration so the lights don't flicker for some reason. It's waiting for the temperature to stabilize. It's the way the starting G code is with Prusa Slicer. I still gotta change it, but it's my starting G code. It for some reason it waits after it does this line, then it waits for it to stabilize. When I use the exact same G code in Cura, it would wait for the temperature to stabilize and then do this. So, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Is it sticking to the bed? That's what I'm kind of worried about, is it this thing's sticking to the bed properly. Because I know we had issues before. Wanted to know would a Raspberry Pi 3B work or do it? You don't need a Pi 4. All my printers run Pi 3s or Pi 0s. I still have a 3A somewhere I got to do something with. Where is that at? But basically, where is my 3A? Where is my 3A? I know I have a 3A somewhere. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's in the Taco Raven box. Where's the Taco Raven box? But yeah, long story short, you don't need a super beefy Pi. A 3A is good enough to run the camera if you want to run a camera. If you don't care about camera, you can run all these on a 0 just fine. So you don't need to go out and spend more to get a Pi 4. So, there it is. 3A. If they made this with 2 USB ports, it would be a heck of a lot better. Or if they just, updated the Pi 0 instead of leaving it like, in 2017. I also have a Pi, or an orange Pi, with the crappy broken, or really weak Wi-Fi. I got an orange Pi 0 I gotta do something with someday. Yeah, this guy. I don't know. One day. Can an Ender 3 be converted to a Switchwire? Yes. There is a few designs out there. I think there's the Grizzly, but there's also another one, but I don't know what it's called, if somebody happens to be able to link it. Orange Pi is meh. Yeah, I bought it back when we were thinking about for V0, potentially like as a cheaper option, but it just had issues, so. The Zero, like the Pi Zero can do video and run Clipper or Mainsail at the same time. You just have to be careful. The video, basically, you have to run it like 480p at a low frame rate. If you try to push like 720 or 1080p, you can stall out the Pi. Ultra Waffles. Switchwire. See if I can find it. Gizzles is the one that isn't using anything extra in order to make it enclosable. Okay. I don't know. How are we doing? How are we doing? It's still stuck to the bed. It's better not be warping already. I really don't like this bed. I think I run my webcams at 720p anyways. Like, honestly, you're just looking to make sure it's not spaghettiing anyways. Like, if I need to record, like, an actual good print, I'll use my A5100. How loud is the LRS 350 when the fans kick on? Well, this is it running right now, but the LRS isn't on. When it kicks on, I'll try and make it, but I'm wearing noise canceling headphones, so. You can't link in chat. Here, let me turn it on. I normally turn linking off, live chat. Oh, no, I can't turn it on. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't link in YouTube chat if you're not a member for some reason. I can't turn that part off. So if you want to post links in the YouTube chat, make sure you become a member of the channel. Ah, the shilling. For first build, what would you recommend? Switchwire 2.4? They're completely different machines in a completely different price bracket. It really depends what you want. Like, do you currently have a 3D printer? Do you currently have like a bed flinger and you're looking for something new? Are you just, playing around? You don't know? Like, yeah. Has anyone worked on the VOC filter? I'm sure you could probably, like, you literally would just have to cut a hole in the back and attach the V2 exhaust, but I don't run exhaust on any of my printers. Oh, this better not pop off the bed. I'm really not liking this bed. I'm not liking this angle either. Come on, get down there. You know what? It's taken this long because I have the acceleration so low, I think. Z-hops are quick, I think. Oh, that's why it's so low. Okay, it's going slow because it's got all these little Z-hop like details where it's got to hop around and do one at a time. That's what's killing the speed. Oh well. Whatever, I'll let it run for a while. Skill sets are about even for sourcing and building. Well, to be fair, a Switchwire you can build a heck of a lot easier than a V2. But if you don't know, like honestly, like a V1, for example, is a really good build for those that aren't quite sure what they want. Just for the fact that it's kind of like good at everything, and it's not too overpriced. Well, not too pricey or complicated. So. This thing better not pop off the bed. I really don't like this bed. I think I've said it like 20 times. Well, the first layer went down good. Like the actual first layer went down good. It's just the bed adhesion is horrible. Oh, you know what? Fill gaps is turned on. I bet you that's what it is. Shoot. Where is that in fill gaps? There's some perimeters. Where is fill gaps in advanced? Layers and perimeters. Fill gaps. Where's fill gaps? Infill. Gap fill. 0. Okay, let's see here. I turned off fill gaps. Let's see what it's like. It's saying like it saves like 20 minutes. I don't know. I think, you know what? I'm just going to let it run. We'll run out the clock. We'll let the stream go. We might go a little late. I'm going to go grab a beer. But just think. It's been printing now for 12 minutes, and in that time, like I could have printed a benchy. I did print a benchy. Remember, we streamed that. I did 10-minute benchy. So it's coming out nice, I will say. Like I guess I should probably, you know, print stuff at decent, reasonable speeds every now and then, so I can actually post good pictures instead of. Literally, people are commenting on the benchy. Like, you know how I did the video with the 14-minute benchy before I did the stream? Somebody commented that that's not a real benchy because a benchy has to be perfect or something like that for it to count. And doing them that fast, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, you completely missed the whole point of the video. So, I'm going to be back with beer. I'm back. You have a moment to measure the distance between the front and back feet. On the Switchwire, you can put them anywhere along the length of the extrusions, really. I have mine underneath where the other extrusion tees to it, but you can put them anywhere for the Switchwire. Like there is on the CAD where they go. Yeah, so on the CAD they go right here where the 3030 connects to the 3060. But you can put them wherever you want. Energetic beds are great. If you can't get like any of like the top tier ones, energetic works just fine. Just be aware after like several months to a year plus, like you might start developing bubbles on the bed. Because it's not, you know, I think the glue isn't as good, but you know, mine's been chugging along for almost a year now without issue. So, does anyone know if the energetic bed or the magnetic bed from the Ender 3 Pro reach? I don't think it does. I don't think their magnets are rated for the temperature. Plus, I don't know. You need to make sure that printer also has a full metal hot end before you're printing ABS. Mainsail for fluid, what are your thoughts and would you choose which one? Whichever interface you like more. Functionally, they are both pretty much the same. They're both currently being worked on, like they're both in active development. So if you like this color scheme, go with this one. If you like this color scheme and layout, go with this one. They're both pretty much the same functionally. And when it comes to like features, if like one comes with a feature that the other one doesn't have, odds are it's added within like a week or two. Like they're both being actively worked on. So when I was doing PIF, we're using the energetic bedsheet. No, I was using just PI directly on the bed and popping the parts off with a spatula. I was doing PIF back in the 2.1 days. Like I did 2.1 PIF parts. I never did 2.2 or 2.4. Back when I had free time. But yeah, about a year ago now, I put a flex plate on 26, and since then all my printers now have flex plates. So. Why? No, honestly, so PI is PI. If it's on a flex plate or if it's directly on the bed, it'll work the exact same. The advantage is when you're done a print, you can pull the flex plate off and go, all the parts pop off, and then you put the flex plate back on and you're ready to go. So you don't need to like pop parts off the bed anymore. Plus, unlike printers with smaller beds, you can pop the flex plate off and then pop the parts off without risk damaging the bed trying to, you know, get jackhammer off a part that's stuck a little too well. You know what? It might stick to the bed. So. And by the way, we have Muskoka Brewery Craft Lager tonight. So, focus. Ooh. All natural, premium, and pure. 4.8% alcohol by volume. Can Clipper run on a NUC? I picked 6 surplus auction for 75 and I'm trying to find uses for them. It should run on like as long as you can run or install whatever version of Linux it needs that it runs on, and then you can add the dependencies that you need afterwards. Yeah, it should run just fine. So, like, you just need whatever version of Linux it needs, and then you just add all the dependencies, which I believe there's guides on how to do that manually. Because I did have Clipper installed on, like, Armbuster or something on the Orange Pi at some point. I went through all that. It sucked, and it wasn't totally not worth it because I didn't do anything with it. David Chavs, I live in Muskoka. I'm down in southern Ontario, so you're probably a few hours north of me. Never been to Muskoka, though. My grade 8 field trip was to Ottawa, so I never went. Everyone else goes to Muskoka. So I never got the sweater. Yeah, it's gap fill that's doing all that stupid filling. I will say it's coming out nice though. So let me see if I can get closer. Let's see here. Yeah, that don't work. Focus on the thing. Yeah, I don't like that. This is the worst webcam mount, by the way. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Yeah, whatever. Some of the NUCs don't run Linux well. Well, technically you don't need video. Like, you're not using, like, it's all a command line for Clipper, and the interface is accessed over a web browser on another computer, so you should be okay. I noticed the bottom wires are sleeved. Would that be a problem with the hot end wires in the chain? In the drag chain on this guy, they are sleeved because these are the 24 volt like high amperage wires going to the bed. So they're sleeved to prevent rubbing on the China drag chains. On the wires up here, I just grease the hell out of them so they don't rub. Plus, I think it looks better with the sleeving. By the way, this way of having the sideways drag chain for the bed wires is so much better than having them flop in the back like most printers. But yeah, so Core XZ. So if you want to see the belts, doing the belt thing. So that's Core XZ for you because you get the belts. Yep. Fun times. Yes, you love the belt thing. Those certainly are belts. Yes, they are. And they do belt things. So you don't need to worry about lead screw wobble. It's cheaper because now you only need 2 motors for your Z and your X versus using, 2 Z motors and then a Y motor or an X motor. So now you got 2 instead of 3 motors. You don't need to worry about lead screw. You don't need to worry about lead screw wobble. It's lighter, it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's less complicated. And it's more compact. If you were to go with a touchscreen today, what option would you go with? Mini 12864. I personally, the only reason V226 has a touchscreen is simply for the fact that it used to run Duet, and Duet didn't have a really cheap screen. I run pretty much all my printers remotely via a computer upstairs in my computer room, or even this computer here when I'm down here. So the screen on the computer for me is literally just to like move the hot end around if I need to do something inside the printer or do filament changes. So just very simple interfaces with buttons is really all I like. So any good PTFE wire source for Canadians? I think there's now, you can get it on Ali. I believe there's a vendor on Ali that carries it. I would ask in the Canadian section of the Voron Discord, but I think there may be a source on Amazon now for the Remington wire now, I believe. So. Yep. Cool. Why is the rail missing bolts? You really only need a screw every other hole to attach the rail to the extrusion. So you can put one in every hole, but I just put every other and it's never been an issue. Save a lot of screws that way. Yeah, Remington sells PTFE and silicone, so make sure you get the silicone. Or the PTFE, sorry. Chrome, it's golf. Ford Racing Golf, I guess, would be the theme. It looks better on a proper camera versus washed out webcam that's having issues with the colors. Putting videos on Twitter because I gotta play the whole social media game sometimes. And really hating my home Wi-Fi. Ugh. Well, according to... Yeah, this thing's going to be a while. This is not going to be an hour print. Who told me to do this, Benchy? What's the verdict on ABS and cooling? The underside of the V0 Pocket Watch Guider has been causing me grief. It keeps turning out lumpy for some reason. Cooling is fine on ABS if you're running like minimal part fan and you're fully enclosed and you're getting like an ambient temperature of 40, 45 plus. You can run a part fan at like 10 to 15 degrees. Or 10 to 15%, and it'll help a lot. You can also make sure you're running a little bit more fan and slow the speed down when you're doing bridging, and that'll help a lot too with those overhangs. How is the duet panel do on Clipper? Just remember how I have one gathering dust. I have a video on my channel on how to hook up a panel do to a machine running Clipper. It connects to the Raspberry Pi over UART, I believe it's called, TX and RX connector. But it can be done. It's relatively easy and it works just fine. So, and you don't need to have a duet controller board. You can use it with like an SKR or ramps. It just because it plugs into the Raspberry Pi. Good. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's bump up the print speed. I keep forgetting that. There we go. Because ain't nobody got time for that. 200% sprint speed. There we go. Mike, why didn't you suggest that earlier? Okay, did that video finally upload? Oh my god. So just so you guys remember, the extrusion is not calibrated at all on this guy. Like, I can't remember what my retraction, and this is just some random Voron tube that's probably like 3 years old. What changed the config to stop the lights from flickering? You can't stop that, Greg. That light turns on whenever it's pulsing the bed. So because it's the bed's PWM and it's pulsing the bed to keep a constant temperature, that light will always flicker. However, if you want to avoid that, it's a relatively simple modification to the printer. Get some black tape. Oh, the room light. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so for, let me pull up. The room light, yes, okay. So for the room light, running Clipper. You can do this in Duet too, but I can't remember the code, or the configuration. But you go down to your heater bed section, and it's this right here. You add this line, PWM cycle time, okay? So PWM underscore cycle underscore time. And it is, if you live in 60 hertz land, it's 0.0166. If you live in 50 hertz land, it's 0.02. It's 1 divided by 50 hertz or 1 divided by 60 hertz. And this forces the bed to cycle at the same frequency as your lights. So, yeah. That's it. And you know what? I'm going to go settings. Running 800 Excel, 1000 Excel. I'm going to add that to dashboard, settings. Printer on this guy. There we go. Save. I just won't restart. Do you have seen the crazy Capitol raid? Yes, and I'm not going to go into politics, but you know what? If they could pull that off and they couldn't pull off Area 51, I'm disappointed, okay? Those Area 51 guys, no excuse. I'm sorry. You can raid the Capitol, you can raid a base. You could have had aliens, guys. You know what's in Area 51? The E3D V7, and it's actually good, and it's modern, and won't be out of date the moment it comes out. Oh well. I got an LDO Switchwire bed and the LED don't work. Totally okay with that. Area 51 requires a 30-mile jog. Yeah, that's true. There is a quite a big no-go zone around it. Oh my god, the video's still uploading. You know your Wi-Fi is bad when you turn off your Wi-Fi to upload things because it's quicker to do it over the cell towers. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know. I got a crappy old router, an Asus router that's like 4 years old now. The thing is, the router is like literally outside this door. It's like out the door and down the hall. It's right there. But like, this is kind of a bad position because it's the utility room's in the way. Yes, these are the LDO Switchwire motors. Yeah. These are the motors. Now, I'm not running them at the right voltage right now because I haven't changed them in the configuration. But yes, those are the LDO motors. So hit up David. I think he might still be in chat. He'll be able to hook you up for exchange for money. But yes. Or Sparta 3D in Canada. Yes, for the Canucks, we finally can get LDO up here. How's it sounding? Yeah, not bad. So again, for those that don't know, all my printers I run with Stealth Chop permanently disabled. I run spread cycle because I'd rather have the torque than slightly quiet. So if this sounds a little bit loud, it's because it's pure spread cycle mode. And I force it by default. I just realized I didn't put a clip in this guy. Yeah, I'll do it later. All right. So, I'm trying to think of something to do with this running now. Oh, something fell on it. That ain't coming off. Okay. By the way, guys, if you try to get my attention on Discord while I'm streaming, I don't see it. Like, it turns off notifications, so... One second here. Rower, if you're in the stream, it's the PWM cycle thing. Let me find it here. There we go. Okay. You stabbed yourself removing those inserts and it won't stop bleeding. My 2.4 is bathed in that stuff. It leaked. Oh, that sucks. The Kodak ABS, William, that's what the orange is in this guy. Like, you know what? It's a little pricey because it's like only 0.75 kilogram spools instead of 1 kilogram spools. But it's not bad. It's made in Argentina of all places. But it's got, you know what? The orange is a really nice orange. That's what this orange is. But I was going to use this to print the Afterburner, or the M4. But I might print the M4s using the light blue and then the dark blue KVP. because I need to save this for another printer that has orange in it because I need to print some new parts. So I don't want to waste it. Well, not waste it, but I need to make sure I have some soon. Black ABS Plus. Yeah, Tater, it comes in like C cans. It comes in big orders, and when it comes in, and then it goes quick because all the Voron guys buy it up. And by the way, just do the Rambo thing. Just pour some gunpowder in it and light it. That'll cauterize the wound. Yeah, all those stupid little gap fills is what's killing me right now. I should have turned off gap fill. Why didn't you tell me to turn off gap fill? I should probably actually, I don't have a profile. This is the downside of having multiple computers, because right now, like, I would have V2 26 printing the parts I need for the M4s, but I can't slice anything on this computer for it because I don't have the profile for it on this computer. It's on the profile upstairs. Turn off I did, Mike, but it's kind of running already, and I'm not going to restart it at this point. What beer am I drinking? I am drinking Muskoka Brewery. So, it ain't bad. How's Ottawa treating you? Yeah, this camera is kind of horrible for this. It's like completely blown out. Yeah, Nextcloud, but then I gotta constantly update it if I change anything. It's just a pain. Hey, let's see how it's doing on overhead cam. Ready? Ooh. Cool. What's the next planned non-Voron part or tuning part that you plan on printing? I don't know. I gotta print the Mobius 4 stuff for this. You know, it's just M4. I keep calling it Mobius 4. It's just M4. But in terms of printing, probably actually not much for a while. I gotta finish up the Intro to ABS series. So I gotta do some printing on the Bonsai probably tomorrow. So I'll probably be printing a bunch of random ABS parts that'll go right in the garbage afterwards for that. There's some stuff for testing I gotta print. And then what else is there? I don't know. Whenever the Ender comes in, we're gonna have fun with the Ender. So. ASA instead of ABS. ASA and ABS. I don't know why everyone thinks ASA is magical ABS. ASA is ABS formulated for UV resistance. I don't know why a lot of people in the 3D printing community think it's like a super special. It is like extremely close to being ABS, that it's basically ABS just with UV resistance. People say it prints better or it doesn't smell as bad. I think that's just for the fact that more ASA filament is better than ABS filament, simply for the fact that there's a lot of cheap ABS out there that is turned into filament, where there's not really a lot of cheap ASA turned into filament, because it's not easier to flood the market with cheap ASA because it's more specialty. So, like, I work in automotive injection molding. I rarely, if ever, actually see ASA plastic to use. It's usually just ABS or a blend of ABS with like polycarbonate or something else. So they have ABS that can withstand UV now too. So there's nothing wrong with using it. Like, you gotta use it. It's still good plastic, but there's really not that big of a difference between. You'll see more variation between two major brands of ABS probably than you will between like ABS and ASA, in my opinion. But that's just me. Need a small blimp with a cam. Well, Brian, join my Patreon, become a member of the channel, help donate, or you can even buy me a coffee. We may have that one day. And I'll make a project out of it and make a video. I haven't turned my Ender on in 2 years. It seems getting my... Well, that was like my Monoprice Select Mini. Once I got the V1 online, I basically stopped using the Monoprice, and it sat for like a year and a half until I went to rebuild it and realized that it was completely worn out and dead. I should do the K3D Core XY conversion on my Ender. Judicar, is that on an Ender 3 or is that the Ender 5? What happens with all the waste ABS from work? It goes in the garbage. Goes in the bin. How dangerous are ABS vapors? I just did 2 videos touching on that subject on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed because there's a 3rd one coming up. But basically, ABS does off-gas, okay? But you need to take into account the amount of off-gassing that ABS produces. Now, an unenclosed printer in your room, printing ABS, you're not going to hit the OSHA minimum limits of being in danger, okay? Which is 100 parts per million, I believe it is, per hour. One printer in a room is not going to hit that. Now, if you have several printers in a room with no ventilation, 3, 4, 5 printers, you may start having issues. But, if this was printing ABS right now, I would be fine in this room all day long, as long as it had moderate ventilation, okay? So, basically, don't live in the room that you're printing ABS in 24/7 with your head in the printer, and you will be fine. Okay, if you have a print farm running ABS, then yes, I would start worrying about the fumes. But I see it on the R3D printing subreddit all the time. Anytime anyone prints anything in ABS, the first thing somebody posts is, "That stuff's toxic for you. You shouldn't be doing it at home." You will get radiation from a banana, but the level is so low it doesn't matter. Okay, yes, printing ABS releases bad stuff, but a single ABS benchy is not going to do anything when you compare it to anything harmful level, for example. So, never trust OSHA to use proper ventilation. I work in a plastic injection manufacturing shop. I know what that is. So, it's kind of crazy. The purge ABS you showed is probably more ABS than I'll be able to print in my lifetime. Correct, and it can't be reused. Like, because the thing is, you have the barrels contaminated with everything else that's possibly printed in it. I work in a shop that builds molds. We don't run production. So the barrels and the presses are running different plastics. Anytime the ABS hits the ground, it's exposed to oils and other contaminants. We print multiple different plastics. So one machine might be running ABS, machine might be running PC ABS. Another machine might be running glass-filled polypro, for all you know. So the problem is, the moment it's mixed up, the moment it's contaminated, you can't recycle it, because different plastics, you have plastics. A lot of people don't realize not all plastics can even be recycled. Okay, it has to be there's thermoset and thermoform plastics. If it's thermoform, that means when it melts, it can reshape. Those plastics you can reuse. But thermoset plastics, it's a chemical alteration that happens at temperature, and it's a one and done thing. So if it's a thermoset plastic, you can't recycle it. You can't, melt it down and reuse it like glass, okay? So once it's used, it's used. So the problem is, you put out your blue bin with all your plastics in it. You have different types of plastic in it. How do you know which is which? Do you think somebody sits there in an assembly line and sorts out, okay, this is PET, this is ABS, this is PET, or this is ABS PC. This is glass-filled nylon. This is glass-filled polypro. This is polypropylene. This is nylon. Is somebody sitting there? Because you can't mix up the different types of plastics and just magically reuse them, unfortunately. It's, put it this way. When you bring an aluminum can to a recycler, they'll give you money, okay? 5 cents a can, whatever it is, okay? They don't give you money when they give you when you give them plastic. They don't give you money when you bring them paper. The only thing that's really worth recycling is aluminum, because it's a metal. That's why recycling is the last of the 3 R's. It's reduce, reuse, recycle, because it has the least impact and is the least beneficial. You should be reducing and reusing, not recycling, because recycling is honestly very wasteful in a lot of ways. So, rant over. Have you tried printing engineering grade on the V2? What engineering grade? You're not going to be doing peak or ultim, but if you need a hot end 300 degrees or colder, or a ambient chamber temperature of 70-ish degrees or colder, you can do it on a V2. Just don't do it in California. Everything you do in... Yes, living in California causes cancer. You could destructively distill thermostats, but it's the same thing like paper, recycling paper. When you recycle paper, you have to bleach the hell out of it. It's, you know, there's a lot of chemicals that go into, you know, recycling paper. Or you could do the same thing that we do with potatoes. You just grow more. Nobody complains about recycling potatoes, or we're going to run out of potatoes, because we just plant more potatoes. We do the same thing with trees. There are more trees in North America now than there were 75 years ago, because they plant them to harvest them. It's a plant. You can just plant more. So, yeah, you can recycle PET. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of bottles are made out of PET, because that's all PET is good for, and using it in 3D printers is like the only other thing it's used for. But anyways, but dedicated PET recycling is a thing, but that's because it's PET. You know you're getting PET, and they probably just barely break even, if that. But you don't have to worry about, like, you know, oh, somebody threw an old oil can in there, or an old jug of oil, WD-40 or whatever, and oh, now everything's contaminated with oil and whatever plastic that was. So. I must go to sleep. It's 5:20 a.m. Ooh, wish you all the... Yeah, good night, man. Get some rest. It's way too late. OSHA said it would be okay to box tape cardboard over insulation. Where'd my mouse go? In Cali, LOL. They have crazy rules, but they're really deadly stuff they allow. Well, I'm in Canada, so we don't even have OSHA, so... I will say this boat is coming out really nice for as slow as it's taken. I don't know what time I'm going to run the stream to. Maybe we'll go to midnight. We'll see. You know, viewers are going down, but everyone's going to sleep, I think. I think the only people still here are the East Coasters, or the West Coasters. Although... Is anyone watching in Australia? You might be at morning. I posted a video, a clip of it printing, saying Core XZ doing its thing, and somebody's like, "Isn't that Core XZ?" Yes, yes it is. West Coaster, East Coast. See, East Coast isn't too bad. It's 11:20 right now. Central Texas. Yeehaw. Quebec City. Buongiorno. Où est la bibliothèque? Pamplemousse? Poutine baguette tabarnak. How common are bad rails? I've got 2 of 6 that roll like poo with the same carriage that runs buttery with the other 4 rails. Brian, where did you get your rails from? And you have to be careful now with a lot of China rails. Usually what they'll do is they'll batch them. So they'll size the carriage, or they'll use whatever size ball works best in the carriage with the rail. So if you start mixing rails and carriages around, you can actually get detrimental effects, especially mixing up the ball bearings. Because what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, we have like different size ball bearings to make the carriage better or worse. So they can maximize the use, right? Because if, you know, they don't want to throw out material, so they'll just use a different size ball bearing to make it run a little bit better. But all my printers run CNA rails, and out of, what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Out of 25 rails in 5 printers, or 4 printers, I've had 1 bad rail over the past 3 years, so. But that's CNA rails. Thoughts on printing engineering grade materials on V2? Choi, I've answered that a few times. Basically, as long as you don't need a chamber temperature over 70 degrees Celsius and a hot end that can do 300 degrees, you're okay. But if you're trying to print Ultim or Peak or any of the super high temp stuff, it isn't going to work, unfortunately. LDO rails are good. Yes. Love your French. I understood all except the end when you're saying peanut butter. Tabarnak. Okay. So, mon français n'est pas très bien. Je parle juste un petit peu de français. L'école... crap. I used to go to a French school, because in Canada we have the option. So I went to a French school until like grade 6 or 7, and I was pulled out because my brother and sister sucked at it, and I've subsequently lost it all. But je peux comprendre, or je peux comprendre français comme ci comme ça, mais pas beaucoup. It's just I can't remember a lot of the words. I can speak it, I can understand it, and I can read it just fine. I just can't remember what a lot of the words are. So, yeah. David Chavs, yes, English class is bad, or French class is bad in Ontario. You have to take like an hour a day of French or something stupid like that, and it's really rudimentary. But I went to a French immersion school until grade 6 or 7, I believe, or 5 or 6, I can't remember, which is full-on French. So French is very good. So so I have a decent French accent because I grew up speaking French, but I just can't remember all the words because it's been so long. Let me just find some random French here to read. French example text. I don't know. But yeah, so I can read French. Like if you were to type out something in French, I can read it. And I can understand pretty much all of it. It's just I can't remember what all the words are when I go to speak it because it's been so long. So. Have I tried fluorescent filament with the black light? No, I have not. That's one thing. I don't have a lot of fancy filaments. I've never been into like... I still don't have any flexible material. Je suis impressionné par ton vocabulaire urbain. Merci, ces petits rayons de sol. I'm impressed with your French. Thanks for the little light. Oh, ces petits rayons de soleil. L'imprinte Voron est vraiment excellent et performant. Je le recommande. Je le recommande à tout. À tout? En tout. À tout. This is the most French I've spoken in like years. Is goat cheese pizza a thing in the French Canadian sparkling can? Yeah. Well, I live in Southern Ontario, so I don't. You'd have to ask one of the Quebecois. Feta on pizza is awesome. I've not seen two carriage types, green and black. The black ones are silver with black end caps, and what appears to be black return channels for the ball. Brian, black or green, it honestly probably just depends on the manufacturer. It's probably just whatever they have access to. So. Feta is freaking great on pizza. You know what? My favorite, I like, we have an Oven 360. They make like those thin crust pizzas. What is it? Feta cheese, Parmesan cheese, garlic, mozzarella cheese, and what is it? Bacon, and yeah, bacon. So it's like a, yeah. How slow can you print ABS before too much heat into the print? Terrence, it depends on the size of the object. Like a big, big object, it won't be an issue because you'll eventually move off the area. But if you're trying to like, the smokestack on a benchy, you may run into an issue there depending on what your ambient temperatures are and whatnot. But as long as you're not printing like 1 millimeter a second, you should be okay. Like normal speeds are fine. I'd kill to be able to print a pizza right now. I could go for a pizza now, dang it. Luckily, everything is closed and we're in a global pandemic, so it's helping me from not getting too fat. Find the fad to be CF filled PETG to be interesting other than its nice post-print look. I will say CF filled stuff prints really, looks really nice. Much evidence that it all much better than regular PETG. What do Canadians call Canadian bacon? Bacon. So here's the thing with PETG and why CF is good in PETG when compared to other filaments, it's not as great. You have to think, why do you put fibers in plastic, right? You got glass-filled nylon, you got carbon fiber, right? You got, sports cars made out of carbon fiber, right? So you're adding fibers to it so that the parts are stronger because the fibers act like strength. It's like rebar and steel, okay? So you're pouring the foundation for your house and you have rebar in the foundation and it helps lock everything together. The problem is with CF or any filament with material added to it, the fibers have to be so small they could fit through your nozzle, okay? So 0.4 millimeters or, 0.3, 0.2, who knows? So you basically have to, you're not using CF strands, you're using powder basically. So yes, other plastic can kind of clump on it and it does affect strength a bit, but it's nowhere near on the same level that actual fibrous like CF filled, glass filled nylons or whatever in real use, like the kind of glass fill in like my Milwaukee drill here, for example. So you'll never get the same strength. And also, no matter, even if you had long strands in there, the strands do not cross layer lines, okay? So when it's laying down that bead of plastic, it will not affect the strength connecting to the next layer of plastic, okay? Because the plastic cools, it has to be liquid for it to flow, okay? So yes, impregnating plastic with CF and whatever, it affects the individual layer of plastic, but not layer adhesion. In fact, it can be detrimental to layer adhesion because CF doesn't stick to CF or glass fill doesn't stick to glass fill. It's the plastic that sticks to plastic. And so when you add more stuff to the plastic, you lower your layer adhesion because it can't, you got your tape, but your tape doesn't stick to the non-sticky side of the tape, okay? So, yeah, now PET has really good layer adhesion. So the fact that it has really good layer adhesion and you lose a little bit of it by adding CF actually doesn't hurt it as much as some other plastics that have layer adhesion issues, right? So, yeah. Have I seen the pancake syringe extruder? Yes, I have. How many years do you play WoW and what class? Azing, I played, oh my god, so if you found the old videos on my channel, I played vanilla WoW up until like a week or two into Burning Crusade, way back in the day, and then I never played it again, and then I played Classic from like September to December last year. So, Is it fibers and FDM filament and not just powder? It depends on the filament, but you have to remember, Kit, the fibers can't be any longer than can fit through your nozzle. And they don't interlock between layers, right? So it's pretty much dust. Check Discord so I can see my Pt3 fail. Let me see here. Did you ping me? Or send it to me directly and I'll pull it up on stream. Ooh. Oh, somebody posted a picture. Ah, okay. Let's see here. Oh, this is good. Hey guys, you know how we say don't use PET parts? This is why you don't use PET parts. Bum bum ba ba. PET gets weak. Even though it has a higher glass transition temperature, once you start pushing 50, 60 plus, it does weaken. It just doesn't fail like PLA where it's like boom, fail. It just kind of gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And when it's under constant tension, it will fail. So I'm assuming this is not supposed to be on an angle anymore. So yeah. There's continuous. Yes, so what is it? Matter Hackers has the filament that has a continuous strand through it. That stuff kind of makes sense, okay? But I'm assuming it's kind of tricky because the thing is that strand is continuous. So if you print on different nozzle size, you'll have different amounts of plastic coming through and pull, and yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure it's designed to print at a certain nozzle diameter. You guys can see it right there. I've had V0 parts printed in ABS Plus disintegrate after exposure to oil, and even worse, Loctite. Oh, any recommended brand? I have never had, I use eSun ABS Plus, and I've never had issues with oil exposure on any of my prints or parts disintegrating. Markforged, okay, yeah, sorry, not Matter Hackers, Markforged for the single strand stuff. But yeah, I've never had parts disintegrate, and I've had them pretty exposed to oil in some of my printers over the years, or grease. So what brand of ABS Plus are you using? But yes, Raymond, it still doesn't cross layer line. It's like when I did the video where I was comparing, like simulating prints on a belt printer, where if you design the parts and the parts are meant to support weight a certain way, then yes, having continuous strand fiber would work. So for example, the AV motor mounts on a V2, okay? Those would probably benefit quite well from having continuous strand CF filament used, because it's a long flat part, right? So the filament would go long ways across the part, and it would be really strong from like bending this way, okay? But if you were to print the part like this, so that the continuous strand went like this, and then you went like that, it would just snap. So, how warm are my steppers feeling? Room temperature. I can't feel this one. It's underneath. They're all room temperature. It's Hatchbox PET. Oof. I need to, you know what? Once I get Toasty Boy up and running, I am going to print parts in PLA and PET and put them in the printer, and just to show people why you don't use that stuff in enclosed printers. So. Devil Design ABS is extremely sensitive to oils and Loctite. Oh. I've never heard of Devil Design ABS Plus. I live in Canada, so our ABS or our filament selection is quite limited. But yeah. Why do I have to? Okay, apparently saying Melty Boy, I have to approve that. I don't know. When do we get a Voron resin printer? So what you do is you go buy a resin printer and you buy a Voron sticker and you stick it on it. Because none of us really want to deal with that. Very few of us have resin printers to begin with. Like, put it this way, unless, you know, some vendor sends me a resin printer to play around with, I am not buying a resin printer. Now, I would love to have a resin printer so I can actually try printing some of the resins that are like structural, like the ABS analog resins. I would love to try printer parts in that, just so I can have an honest answer when people ask me about it. But I am not going to go buy a resin printer. So, Polish brand of ABS. Okay, yeah. eSun ABS Plus works really good if you can find it. And it's very forgiving. Like, put it this way, I'm having more warp issues on the PLA on this than I do with eSun ABS Plus. It's hard to burn out steppers with ambient. Stepper motors are usually good to about 100C. Like, I've had stepper motors screaming hot where, like, I would get a burn if I held my hand on it for like 2 seconds or more. Print fine for hours on end. So, where can I buy a Voron sticker? You probably actually have to make them yourself now. I don't think they're being made anymore by anyone. I think I have some. I might have some still. Do I have some? I got LDO Motors stickers. There we go. I got nowhere to put this. I'll put it right here. There we go. There you go, Jason. I don't know if you even watch these streams, but there you go. Resin can be brittle. It can also be, like, from what I've heard, resin is brittle. Yeah, see, I've got a few of these, which are like the Voron stickers made with the, like, the MZBot logo made with Voron parts. Problem is, these are like 2.2 parts, so they're kind of out of date. So, like, that's the one I have on here. So, ask V0100 for stickers. There you go. Yeah, even with resin, they have a tendency to flex under. Plus, you can't print them as solid, right? Because you have to drain them, essentially, right? Provolone. Provolone's good. I like provolone. Okay, we're down to 120 people because we're just chatting about food and stickers while a printer does its printing thing. And only 87 likes. Come on, guys. Smash. What is it? Like the smash button. Smashed it twice. There you go. Wait, don't smash it twice, because then you unsmash it. Need a clip of the colorized in green, like the smash button. Start talking about beer and you'll keep more. Okay, so beer is delicious and nummies. This one's almost empty. I gotta get another one. I need a little video like Dr. Disrespect. So, Azing, I keep up a little bit with streaming culture, but Dr. Disrespect still around even? Like, I know he got kicked off Twitch for whatever reason, but like, I don't know. Just don't start spamming like PogChamp and that other stuff that I have no idea what the hell it means. Probably not needed, but with trying to lighten Switchwire Y-axis be fruitful. So the Y-axis itself on the Switchwire, you need to remember all the Y-axis is the bed, which is a PCB bed, the bed carriage, and the come on, lighting, and the rail carriage. Like the Y-axis is, you know, it's pretty damn light already. Like the only thing you would be able to do would be to take some weight out of the carriage, which you could probably do. You know, you can go happy with a drill press and drill a bunch of random holes in it. Might affect stiffness, but that would be it. Do belts like the little Z belts from the motor stretch over time? Basically what I would do is retension the belts after running the printer for a couple hours, you know, a day or two or whatever. Just like, you know, build your printer, run it for a bit, and then retension the belts after, because usually there's like a break-in stretch, and then after that you're usually okay. Like, these are, you know, Kevlar infused whatever Gates belts, so they're good belts. So, oh, thinking minimal metal, actual CF tubing. Brian, probably not. Like, remember, okay, everyone's going into lightning, trying to make stuff lighter. That was the thing back in the day. Everyone's going to CF, you know, rods and whatnot, and Bowden setups and whatnot. This guy with its heavy ass NEMA 17 pancake, full afterburner setup tool head with dual MGN 9 X rails and bearings, and that the whole, you know, X assembly on this weighs several pounds. Was doing 20,000 accelerations at 300 millimeters a second, or up to 400 millimeters a second, and cranked out a 10-minute benchy. So honestly, I don't think weight is the issue people think of anymore with 3D printing, because now we have firmware that can actually handle it properly. Like, there are CNC machines that have beds that move, that have capacities of 40,000 pounds or more. We have some in my shop that will literally run faster than any of the printers I have here. And that's with 40,000 pounds on a bed. Okay? So, but those are designed to handle it, and they have the software and whatnot that handles it. 3D printing is finally kind of catching up in that regard. So I don't think going super light is the be-all end-all that it used to be, because we couldn't handle it. Now with like input shaper and like pressure or input shaper and all the other fun stuff that allow us to handle it, we can, you know, just crank it up and it just handles it. So yeah. Congrats, David. Hope you enjoyed the build. Then why are Vorons trying to be light with XY? In what regard XY? Because like they're not super light. Like they're as light as they can be, but you know, it's not like we're slapping lead weights on them. But like, do you switch to metric? America is doing it in 24. Well, technically I'm in Canada, so we're already technically metric. It's just we don't use it all the time. I think it's an issue with stiffness versus weight. Yeah, that's true. Like, go back, remember, a lot of early printers, like the 888, it's just acrylic frame. So, I am not liking... Oh, it's got all these stupid little towers, that's why. Let me pull it up here. Okay, this is what's killing the print time. This is why this is a stupid 3-hour print. It's all these stupid little bone scales here. See all these? This is why it's a 3-hour print. It's all these little doodads. I said give me a 1-hour print. I was under the impression that the big point of Core XY is less moving mass is good. It is good because it's equal consistent moving mass and it is lighter technically. You still are not moving any motors that you don't need to be moving. And Core XY is good to a point. Like, I wouldn't be slapping you. You don't see CNC machines, milling machines in Core XY, okay? So Core XY allows you to take advantage of lighter weight tool heads and moving assemblies. And it benefits more from them, but it benefits more, or what is this? What would be the other way of saying this? You could do more with what you have with a Core XY setup than with a traditional, or a motor per axis, essentially. So. Yeah, this is not a standard benchy. This is some frou-frou fancy benchy that buddy's like, oh, build this or print this one. And I'm like, okay, I don't know why it's 3 hours. Now I know why it's a 3-hour benchy, so I'm going to be ending the stream in probably 10 minutes. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Correct, Brian. Like, if the lighter your tool head, the less issues with, you know, starting and stopping or changing directions you're going to have, right? So the less moving mass, the better, okay? CNC machines, for example, have counterweights for the Z-axis so that the motors don't have to work as hard lifting the Z-axis. That's not really a thing with 3D printers because most of the time our Z-axis is so light and moves so slow it's a non-issue. But like on Switchwire, we have a counterbalance because it's Core XZ. But that allows you to do 300 millimeters a second in the Z because why not? So if you think about it, yes, it is better to be lighter because, you know, if you're moving around more than you need to, you're wasting energy, right? You're wasting power. But now that we have the ability to actually handle a little bit more weight, it's not as big of an issue, okay? So. What name does the Switchwire get? The Switchwire is Switchwire because I'm very clever. I haven't thought of a good name for the Switchwire yet. It's the only Switchwire I have, so it's just Switchwire. Flingy boy. I don't know. Do the wire chains settle in after a bit? They seem a bit stiff just playing with them out of the box. They probably will break in after a while. If you're a little worried, you can honestly probably just PTFE grease up the joints. It won't hurt them. But honestly, it's probably just, you know, fresh out of the injection mold and slapped together. So I could see there being potential stiffness issues, but they probably will break in just fine. I know I haven't had any issues with any of the drag chains on mine, and they're China drag chains, so. Okay, so Core XZ on Switchwire isn't really, it does help with the speed, yes, but it's not just for speed, okay? Core XZ allows you to do several things with a bed flinger that you normally can't. One, it's a cheaper setup, okay? You're not dealing with two integrated lead screw motors. Now, if you have lead screws with couplers, you have issues with lead screw wobble. You can even still have lead screw wobble issues with integrated lead screw steppers, but it's not as common. It's the less chance of it, okay? So you have less issues with wobble. It's cheaper because a proper, you know, i3 Mendel style printer, you should have 2Z, right? Otherwise you have an unsupported side of your Z, you have an issue with drooping, it can happen. So you're saving money because you're not buying 3 motors, you're buying 2 motors. You're not dealing with the added cost of integrated lead screw steppers. So the overall cost is less. You do have faster Z, so you can run Z hop at a higher speed with less penalty. You can run. You can also do kinds of like you can also do the fancy where you print on angles or whatever it's called. This tool head isn't really great for it, but if somebody were to design one, you can easily, because you can move your Z is as fast as your X with this setup. Plus, it's just cool. There's not a lot of Core X heads out there, so it's kind of just, you know, it has advantages, but it's also a neat, not common thing. So. Non-planar. Yeah, you can do non-planar printing with this just fine. Also, I have bed mesh on. You never heard bed mesh leveling at all on this printer, because even with a bed mesh, both motors are constantly running because it's Core XZ, right? So no matter what I'm doing, both these motors are running. So when you're doing a bed mesh and you're compensating for a not flat bed, it makes the same noise as when it's normally printing. So you don't have that constant as your stepper motor is constantly, you know, stepping up and down half steps and whatnot. So, okay. Yeah, we're definitely getting near the end because the batteries on my AirPods are dying. I will say this print's coming out pretty good. I will post pictures of it, obviously, on Twitter and whatnot. So I'm gonna call a stream now. Go to big view. All right, let's do overview. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now. No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna let the print finish, and then once it's done, I'll post pictures probably in the morning because I'm gonna go to bed after this. So I'm tired and it's midnight. I might have another beer. We'll see. So for those that watch the stream, thank you for watching the stream. If you've been here the whole time, awesome. If you're not subscribed, why not? You should probably be by now. But if you are not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. If you have any comments or questions, if you're watching this later, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. I'm pretty active at trying to answer questions. If you want to support the channel, because of course all this is mostly because of you guys, and your support has allowed me to expand and make this an actual dedicated thing, and not quite a full-time job, but enough that I can actually dedicate time to it. So if you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon. You can donate directly when I stream, or you can become a member of the channel. I do have Buy Me a Coffee as well. Links are below. I do have some affiliate links with Matter Hackers and Banggood if you want to support me that way, and also buy some stuff for yourself. So I hope you all have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Wash your hands, and peace.